It's your friendly neighborhood witch, Taylor Swift, and I've got a bewitching treat for you this Halloween season. Today, we're diving into the world of mortgage enchantment like never before. We're talking about something even scarier than ghost stories. The 2-1 buy down. But don't worry, I promise it's more treat than trick. Now, I know it's Halloween, and you might be wondering, what's more haunting than the scariest haunted house? Well, it's mortgage rates on the rise, but have no fear because I've conjured up a solution that's sure to leave you spellbound. On this enchanting journey, we have our very own mortgage sorcerer, Cody, who's going to unravel the secrets of the 2-1 buy down in a way that's as magical as a pumpkin turning into a carriage at midnight. As we dance through the moonlit night of mortgage mysteries, remember that your future doesn't have to be as mysterious as a black cat on Halloween. So grab your broomsticks, set your cauldrons to simmer, and join us for a spellbinding YouTube live stream that'll make your Halloween unforgettable. Don't be a ghost trader of your mortgage. Write your own magical destiny. This is Taylor Swift, your friendly neighborhood witch, signing off, and remember, you're never out of the woods when you've got the power to take control of your mortgage magic. Happy Halloween. Hey there, my spooky pals and mortgage mavens. It's your friendly neighborhood witch, Taylor Swift, and I've got a bewitching treat for you this Halloween season. Today, we're diving into the world of mortgage enchantment like never before. We're talking about something even scarier than ghost stories. The 2-1 buy down. But don't worry, I promise it's more treat than trick. Now, I know it's Halloween, and you might be wondering, what's more haunting than the scariest haunted house? Well, it's mortgage rates on the rise, but have no fear because I've conjured up a solution that's sure to leave you spellbound. On this enchanting journey, we have our very own mortgage sorcerer, Cody, who's going to
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the country you are in this morning. It's Saturday before Halloween. We're going to have a shorter stream today. I got a couple Halloween parties this afternoon. My daughter rides horses, and so we got to go dress her and her horse up as a clown. We're going to do some painting and dots. It's the whole thing. So we got that going on this morning. So, but I do have two really cool open houses. Kalisha Thompson is joining us this morning, and Cole Jensen should be on here in a minute. I know last week I said I was going to be covering debt servicing loans today, but we're going to save that for next week. I had a couple nice listings pop up, and I want to do a continuation of what we talked about last week with the 2-1 buy downs. Before we do that, let's kind of dive into some housekeeping items. So like every week on this live stream, all the interest rates that we're going to use are coming off of Mortgage News Daily. This is a website I go to every day for all my mortgage news, latest stories, but it's also a great place to see uninfluenced interest rates. So these aren't interest rates from a mortgage company. These are national average interest rates, probably the most accurate number you're going to find online for a national average. So 30-year fix, we're down slightly from last week, but remember last week we saw a pretty big jump in rates just in a week. So we're at 7.8 on a 30-year. Jumbo, 8% even. Now again, we haven't seen this in a very long time. It's been a few months now, but the spread between conventional and jumbo mortgages, jumbo meaning a mortgage that's above the conforming loan limit, and going into next year, the new conforming loan limit is $750,000. It's less than 0.25% spread. Historically, that's anywhere from 0.5 to 0.75 point difference between the two. So it is good seeing jumbo rates right in line with 30-year fixed conforming. FHA 7.32, VA 7.33. So that's where interest rates are as of today. Gavin, who normally sends me all the data, he sent me the lockbox activity, but not our transaction activity. So we're going to review that really quick. Let me move these out of the way. You can see our lockbox activity. So Anytime a real estate agent opens a lockbox on a house, that data gets sent and is tracked. So in Oregon, we can see we're down 3.4%, Washington down 5.3%. It's typical to see things slow down this time of year, but it's emphasized with the way the market is, with interest rates. We've been talking a lot the last few weeks about the market and where we're at, and it's not really a seller's market, it's not really a buyer's market, it's kind of locked up. And with that comes opportunity, and that's what that's one of the reasons I wanted to continue talking about the 2-1 buy downs. All right. I also got a new microphone, so hopefully I sound a little less echoey. All right. Short on housekeeping items today. You guys ready to dive in? Our first house is a new construction in Mount Vista. And Cole, if you're on, say hi to everybody. Cole's doing an open house today, I believe. Cole, if you're on, what time are you opening that open house today? Let me pull up your Instagram feed here. One to 5 o'clock. So in between your Halloween parties, go and visit Cole at this house. 14911 Northeast 40th Court, Vancouver, Washington, 98686. Again, this is up in the Mount Vista area. If you're watching from out of the area, we're in Southwest Washington, just across the river from Portland. Let's take a look on a map. The Mount Vista area is a very hot area. It's up by the WSU, Washington State University, Vancouver campus, in the Salmon Creek area. You can see Washington State University. Oh, let me pull up the map here. Sorry, wrong screen, guys. All right, so let's zoom out. Like I said, we're in Southwest Washington, right across from Portland. Right where I-5 and 205 merge is Salmon Creek. And up on the hill in Salmon Creek is Mount Vista. Right next to the WSU Vancouver campus. You can see how close we are here. This is Cole's open house. We're very, very close to Washington State University. Nice, mature neighborhood, but there is new construction going in up there, which is very cool. So as a reminder, I'm looking at these new listings for the first time with you. I do skim them to get some data to put in my presentation here, but for the most part, I'm looking at these for the first time, so you're getting my live reaction along with yours. All right, so we're listed at $999,000. Let's just call it $1 million. 2,700 square feet, 4 bed, 3 bath, and I believe this house has a pretty decent lot. See Cole's description here. On a huge 14,000 square foot. Third of an acre lot. That's hard to find in Vancouver. It's hard to find in Mount Vista, especially on new construction. Builders like to cram as many homes in a development as possible, but here you get a nice big lot. Right away, the first thing you notice is the green space that's around it, but something you don't get a lot in new construction developments is some mature landscaping. Got a very modern look on the front, nice big driveway. It's got the cool glass garage door. Nice entry. Looks like maybe an office right off the entry. I'm assuming that's a gas fireplace, very modern on the inside. Nice big great room, kitchen. Very modern light fixtures. So we switched the live stream today from 10 a.m. to 9 a.m. The reason we did that is a lot of open houses start at 11. So we bumped it up a little bit. So it might take a couple weeks for people to adjust, but we're going to be doing this at 9 a.m. for a while. Double sliders, covered patio, looking out again at that very mature green space. Looks like double oven. Two-tone cabinets. Cooler, are you on here yet? Who's the builder here? Nice tile backsplash, very clean. Looks like an electric range. Pantry, I'm assuming. Utility room. Guest bath. Again, those modern light fixtures in this looks like an office or a bedroom. Must be in the master. Freestanding tub, nice big shower, lots of light. Big walk-in. All right, looks like we got a bonus room here with a wet bar. Perfect place for a pool table. Kind of an interesting built-in cove here. Well, be a good place to put some art maybe. You know what that would be good for? You got your pool table, you can put your pool cue rack right in that little cutout section. So it looks like the bonus room is upstairs, big huge windows. There's your wet bar, wine fridge spot. Here's your office. Nice big tree right out front. Upstairs guest bath. All right, covered patio. I love how there's only one house kind of off to the left, but behind you it's pretty open. Pretty private. Love the cedar ceiling. It's either a hose bib there or maybe natural gas for a barbecue. This house looks like it's on propane. So that fireplace must be a propane fireplace. So it looks like there's only 2 lots left, or only one really. We got number 8's pending. So the last home in the subdivision. Okay. Very cool. So one thing to note on new construction, if we go back to the listing here, we scroll down see, price history and tax history. Obviously, there's no tax history because it's brand new construction, but how do we know what the property taxes are going to be? We don't. Property taxes in Clark County are assessed in February, so this home will be tax assessed in February, and then we'll know exactly what the taxes are, but for financing purposes, we're going to go high on taxes. We're going to make sure that we're qualifying a borrower with property taxes that are probably higher than what they actually will be. That way, when we do get the property tax statement and our property tax bill, it's going to be less than we qualify for, so we're not going to have any hardships there. Zillow's listing property taxes at $708. There's a couple different websites you can go to. You can go to the GIS, which probably won't be updated. You can use a formula, 1.25% of the purchase price divided by 12. And there's some websites we use to kind of get a ballpark on property taxes. Okay, let's dive into some numbers. So I went very vanilla here, except I see one mistake, so let's go ahead and fix this. I wanted to keep us in conforming loan limits today. So we're putting 25% down, not 20. There we go, 25% down, 30-year fixed. Purchase price $1 million. 25% down puts us to a loan amount of $749,250. You know, this is for our move-up buyers. Somebody who bought a starter home, now starting their family, needs more square footage, needs a more updated and wants brand new, wants to live in Mount Vista. So it's in this market, it's not unrealistic to have a couple $100,000 in equity that you can roll over. So that's kind of the borrower we're talking about here. And that borrower, if they're selling their home and going to be moving into this one, most likely they're leaving a pretty good interest rate. And herein lies the problem. This is why we see the market kind of locked up right now, is it is a big adjustment to go from an interest rate that starts with 3 or maybe even 2 and go into an interest rate at 7.88. So we're going to go over some ways to make that transition easier here. All right, so I'm going to click on this more info link. Again, we see our purchase price at $999. Principal and interest with 20% down at that 7.88 is $54.35. Property taxes probably going to be less than $708. Probably going to be closer to maybe $600, maybe high fives. But we're going to use worst case scenario. Homeowners insurance, this protects the house in case of a fire or burglary or something of that nature. You're at $100 a month. That's going to fluctuate depending on which insurance company you elect. We like to recommend Tina Vlahos over at American Family. Jeff Mays at the Mage Agency is also good. So it's going to fluctuate depending on what company you choose and what coverages you elect. So we're going to go 100. You're going to be somewhere between 50 and $100 a month. So if we add these three numbers together, in this example, no mortgage insurance. Again, mortgage insurance, we're going to go over that in the next one, is only there to protect the lender. The only thing that benefits a home buyer with mortgage insurance is being able to put less than 20% down. We're putting 25% down, so no mortgage insurance. We get a total payment of $62.43. This is where I ask, how does that number sit with you? It's a big number. Kalisha, how does that number sit with you? Or what kind of reaction are you seeing from your buyers that are looking in this price range? There's no right or wrong answer, but it's important we know, both your real estate agent and myself, how that number sits with you. I'm going to get one of three responses. The first response is totally doable. That's what I budgeted for. I know it's more than I'm paying now, but we've been budgeting for $62.43. I can afford that all day long. Another response might be, there's no way I could ever afford 6243. That's way out of the question. And that response is okay too. It's important that we understand where you're at. Maybe we need to be looking at some creative financing options. Maybe we need to be looking at a different price point. And another answer I'm getting more and more nowadays is, that's exactly what I was expecting. I calculated it, and I knew it was going to be somewhere between $6,000 and $6,500. The rate is not permanent, Kalisha, and that's a great point. And there's a lot of fancy sales verbiage we use. You marry the house, not the rate. It's one of them. And it's very true. Especially now when we're talking about how do we take advantage of a market like this. And it really comes down to, you can't rebuy your house. You can't rebuy your move up 2,800 square foot house brand new in Mount Vista. The opportunity to buy that house isn't going to come up again, but your rate isn't forever. It's not permanent. We're expecting the consensus in the market is that interest rates will follow inflation and will ease in the next 18 to 36 months. Now, when it comes to predictions, on average, the market is right half the time. But it's very, very hard to predict where rates are going to go. We might be looking 18 months from now at 7.88 and think that's a great rate. I can tell you that the consensus is we're not going to see rates in the 3s and 4s again, most likely. So we can take advantage of the market by, one of the ways we can is by using what's called a 2-1 buy down. So let me show you what that looks like. And this is going to be a review if you were watching last week. But it's really important to understand how this works. Okay. So a 2-1 buy down is a temporary buy down. It's kind of like the opposite of an ARM, where we're in the same program. A 2-1 buy down is not a loan program, so we're still in a 25% down 30-year fixed rate. A 2-1 buy down is a feature that you can add onto most loan programs. So you can add it onto conforming, FHA, VA, USDA. You can add this 2-1 buy down. And a 2-1 buy down is just that. For the first year, we're going to buy down the interest rate by 2%, bringing us from 7.88 to 5.88, dropping our payment from $62.43 to $52.42, saving us $1,000 a month. The question I get asked a lot is, how could people afford these interest rates? The fact is they can't. We're not seeing a lot of affordability issues. Yes, in the first-time home buyers, people that are getting started in their career, we are starting to see some affordability issues, but people can qualify for these payments. But just because you can qualify doesn't mean it's going to feel good. So this 2-1 buy down is a great way for the buyer that's leaving their starter home and their 3% interest rate and jumping into a home that fits their current needs. It gives them a period to get used to a higher payment by saving that $1,000 a month. So 2-1, so year 2, our interest rate's reduced by 1%. So we go from 7.88 to 6.88. Now our payment goes from $62.43 to $57.32, saving us $510 a month in year 2. So stepping stones. And what would be really nice and what we're hoping for is an opportunity to refinance in these first 2 years, to maybe drop down to a 5.5, 5.25 interest rate, maybe, right? If we don't refinance and we go into year 3, guess what? We're still in a fixed rate. So we go back up to our original 30-year fix, 7.88%, $62.43, then that's fixed for the next 28 years. So how do we do that? Well, we do it by buying down the interest rate. And we didn't go over closing costs on the last screen, but here's our closing cost screen. So $36.91 is going to be around where your closing costs are going to be. That's going to include your title and escrow fees, your county recording fees, your lender fee. We charge a flat $14.50 to do the loan. Some lenders charge a 1% origination fee. But for us, you're going to be right around $36.91. Your prepaid taxes, insurance, and interest. This is going to start your escrow impound account where your property taxes and homeowner's insurance will go, so that there's enough money in that account to cover those bills when they're due. If you want more of a breakdown on these, watch our past videos. We've done some big breakdowns on what prepaids are. This number here is what I want to talk about. So the way we calculate the cost of a 2-1 buy down is we add our savings together. So $1,510 times 12 months. That's going to give us the total cost of the 2-1 buy down. And we're going to ask the seller to pay that for us. So if we go back to our closing cost screen here, we can see that we're being charged $18,136, which is just the total of our savings over 2 years. And this line here, this contributions, this is where we're going to ask the seller to pay for our 2-1 buy down. So in this example, our total cash out of pocket is $260,000. Kalisha, maybe you can answer details question there, or if Cole's on, he can. What's the purchase price sweet spot right now? It's a hard question to answer. I think for move-up buyers, we're getting into that $850 to $1 million. Somebody that needs more square footage, better school district. Kalisha's got a good listing that we're going to look at next. It's maybe for a move-up buyer that's not in the $1 million range. My question would be, is Kalisha and Cole, if you're on here, are sellers open to this? I know the market's softening and we're starting to see a lot more seller credits. 2-1 buy downs are getting very popular. People are starting to understand what it is. I'm even seeing listings where it's advertised where the seller's offering a 2-1 buy down. If they're offering the 2-1 buy down, they're doing exactly what we just covered. All right. You guys ready to go to Kalisha's? So Kalisha was referred to me by Ryan McCracken. Ryan McCracken, surprised he's not on here yet, is a loan officer in my office, worked with him for about 10 years, maybe longer. And he's an excellent loan officer, has some really good relationships, and Kalisha's one of them. So they wanted to feature Kalisha's, and I'm going to put Ryan's contact info, Cole's contact info, and Kalisha's contact info in the description when we're done here. So you can reach out to them if you have any additional questions on these properties, or if you want to go take a look. All right. A very common search criteria for maybe a move-up buyer, maybe even a first-time home buyer, is they want to get out of the subdivision and go get on some acreage. And that can be an expensive proposition. So when I saw this house, again, this is the first time I'm really looking at it, but I pulled it up this morning just to prepare. And this is kind of a hard home to find in this price range. So we're looking at 1013 Northwest 389th Street in Woodland, Washington. Let's pull up this address. So Woodland, Washington is just north, a couple exits from Mount Vista. So you can see here's Richfield. This is where I-5 and 205 meet. We're just north of there. Kind of on our way up to Mount St. Helens. And I would say we're about 10 minutes from the freeway here, so not bad. You're probably 25, 30 minutes from the airport. So $699, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,289 square foot. We're on a 5-acre lot. Let's see what Kalisha has to say about this. Beautiful views of Mount St. Helens. Covered porch, 1930s farmhouse. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, pellet stove. Nice mud room, big utility room. So 5 flat acres, got fruit trees, garden space, 48 by 35 shop, 4 bays, 1,800 square foot historic barn. Maybe Kalisha can qualify what historic barn means. A pump house with additional storage. So the reason I say explain what historic barn is because there's sometimes that can mean that it's in the zone historic or that there's certain requirements with that. Washington Historical Registry. Very cool. Well, let's take a look. Man, it's beautiful. Beautiful lot. Flat, like the description says. I can tell right away it's a very nice shop. And if it wasn't so cloudy, we might be able to see Mount St. Helens. I think we're looking the right direction there. Good drone shot. That's right. We deal with that. I'm in a subdivision. We deal with that a lot. A lot of people have boats and RVs, and they're paying $500-600 a month to store them. So just right off the bat on the outside, you can tell the bones are there. The bones are good. Lots of potential. Nice big front porch. So I've talked about this a lot in the house, and this might just be me, but I love taking an older home like this and leaving some of the charm as far as like the parquet entry and some of those details that say, hey, this home was built in the 1930s, but then updating it. And I can tell right away that's what somebody's going to do to this house. This house just screams to me sweat equity. It's got everything that a lot of people are looking for. Acreage, flat, vintage house, nice wood burning stove. I mean, you could really bring this house up to date and make it something special. Very cool brick in the kitchen. I'm assuming that's maybe the back side of where the wood stove is. Or maybe at some point there was a fireplace there. So again, very clean. Nothing wrong with this kitchen, but you can come on in here and update it. Even if you just came here and painted the cabinets. I mean, there's a lot you could do here. I like the nice light coming in through the windows. All right, so here's that big mudroom they were talking about. You know, living out in the country, if you're anything like me, I love hunting and fishing. I can just imagine coming home into that mudroom, throwing my dirty clothes right into the washer. Got a sink right there. I mean, you could turn this into a mudroom / hobby room if you wanted. All right, so this looks like our living room or family room. French doors. So that's just the oversized laundry room. There's a separate mudroom off of that. Maybe we'll see that here in a second. Okay, it looks like we are another family room. I don't think this is a bedroom. Guest bath. Okay, now we're upstairs. The doors are cool. I want to go back there. The doors are very cool. And this looks like access to our attic here. For those of you watching, details is in the chat. That's our preferred home inspector. Details home inspections. Looks like we have another attic access in the bathroom here. So you talked about, Kalisha, the cost of storing an RV and boat. We don't have very much storage in our house, so my wife just went out and rented a storage unit against my will. And having access to this attic space, looks like in a lot of the rooms upstairs, is awesome. Awesome place for storage. Almost in every room there's access to the attic. Looks like we have electric heaters. Be very easy to add maybe a heat pump to this house, make it a little more efficient. Okay, so where are we at, Kalisha? Is this the entrance to the front? Okay, so here's our shop. Wow, look at that. Okay, so that was the mudroom. Going into the utility room. This is one of those houses, guys, it's open today. This is one you need to go look at. These pictures are awesome, but to get a real feel for it, I think we need to go out and look at the open house. And Kalisha, I believe you're holding your house open today. I've got it here. One to 3 o'clock. There's so much potential with this shop. All right, so there's our historic barn. Built in 1945. So Kalisha, you may or may not know the answer to this. How are we restricted on what we can do here, or can I actually put some horse stalls in here and use this as a working barn? You can tell at one point there were stalls in here. So, look, for $6.99 to get 5 acres, nice big house, big farmhouse, you get a historic barn, I'm thinking right away there's a lot of room here. You know, like I mentioned in the beginning, my daughter rides horses. You could easily build a little arena out here. You could do an outdoor arena. You could do a full blown arena. You got a barn you could put stalls in. I mean, this is the perfect house for a family to do some 4-H activity, to enjoy living out in the country a little bit. A little side business. Details is always looking for the little side business. That's where I was going too. You know, you could board horses there. You could turn the barn into a barn dominium. You'd easily be over $1 million, Kalisha. You'd be easily over $1 million if this house is updated. So it's not how long you've owned, it's when you buy. Sorry, excuse me. Rewind that. It's not when you buy, it's how long you've owned. And this is a perfect example of that. In a tough market, you can come in here. You know, I think a 2-1 buy down would be excellent on a house like this, especially if you're used to being in a subdivision with a low rate. You want to live out in the country. And then some sweat equity here. I mean, fast forward 5-10 years, you put some sweat equity in this house, you could really have something special. All right, a couple more pictures. Okay, so here you can get a better view of that mudroom. So it looks like it's off the back of the house. Goes into the utility room. All right. So, in this example, $699, we're going to put 10% down. I think 10% down is great on this house. Let's say I'm selling a house and I'm going to have $200,000 in equity. Maybe I don't want to roll all that over to this house. Maybe I want to save some for my updates or for my arena or for a remodel. So we're going to put 10% down. We're using that conforming rate again off of Mortgage News Daily, 7.88%. Go down and look at our payment breakdown. 10% down at 7.88, $45.63. Property taxes, Kalisha, it looked like this home maybe was in a, maybe had a like senior discount on property taxes. The GIS showed $1,000 a year, so that to me looked like a senior discount. So when you're looking at property taxes on listings, especially if you're using Zillow, sometimes if the property taxes seem too good to be true, there's a reason why. And I'm guessing on this one, the current owners and maybe a senior discount on the property taxes. So we're going to use $495 as an estimate for property taxes. Homeowners insurance, again, you're going to be somewhere between $50 and $100 a month. I'm not 100% on the senior discount. The property taxes just kind of got me thinking about that details. And yes, there is some discounts for disabled veterans and for senior citizens for property taxes, depending on the county. All right, so we've talked about creative ways of dealing with mortgage insurance. We're going to keep it simple today. We're putting less than 20% down. We're putting 10% down. So our mortgage insurance is going to be about $110 a month. Again, that's there to protect the lender in case of foreclosure. So if we add these four numbers together, we get a total payment of $52.68. So same question, how does that number sit with you? Thanks for joining us, Kalisha. Everybody go see our open house. Mention that you were here. Thank you, Kalisha. Please send us some more listings. It was nice having you on. So closing costs, with our down payment, we're out of pocket $78,000. So, same deal. Let's look at a 2-1 buy down. Well, let me put the 30-year fix back up so we can see it side by side. Okay, so we go from 7.88 to 5.88. Again, we're buying the interest rate down with this 2-1 buy down feature. 2% the first year, so we dropped to 5.88. Drops our payment from $52.68 to $44.28, saving us $840 a month. Significant. Especially if we're doing a remodel and we're going to have some out-of-pocket expenses, having a discount on our payment for the first 2 years going to make life a lot easier. Year 2, our interest rate is bought down 1%. So from 7.88 to 6.88, our payment goes to $48.39, saving us $428. We're hoping for a refinance here, but we qualify if we have to live in this payment in the 7.88. We qualify for it, so I know we're good. But we're hoping for a refinance somewhere between years 2 and 3. Years 3 through 30. We go back up to our 7.88 and our $52.68 payment. And the way we get there, just like on the last house, we go to our closing costs. We take the total of those payments over 2 years, the total of the savings. So the $800 the first year, the $460 whatever the second year, we add all that money together. And that's what we have to pay, or the sellers, we're going to ask the sellers to pay for that 2-1 buy down. So $15,228, it's that total. And then this contribution line here, this is when we're going to ask the sellers to pay that for us. So you can see our cash to close is the same, $78,000 with the 2-1 buy down because the seller's paying that for us. Questions, thoughts? Do you guys like this strategy? So next week, I'd like to cover debt servicing. Debt servicing is a great tool for buying investment properties. I had a great conversation with Ryan McCracken and a couple real estate agents, Amy Tierney and Shauna, about duplexes. I believe, if I'm right, they said there's 9 active listings for duplexes. So we might take some of those and run debt servicing on them, meaning that we can qualify with just the rental income. So I know details, you're going to want to be there for that one. If I sell the house before the second year, or I refinance the house before the third year, nothing happens. I don't believe you're refunded the difference. Don't believe. So if we end up saving $8,000 over the period and we sell or refinance, I'll find out for next week if we get refunded any of that money, but I don't believe we do. That's a very good question. All right, guys, have a safe Halloween. We're halfway through fantasy football, so enjoy your Sunday football tomorrow. And hopefully we get some nice weather this weekend. But I appreciate everyone showing up. Please like, subscribe. Those definitely help the channel get started. And if you want to feature a open house on this stream, hit me up. My info is in the description. You can schedule a call with me. There's a link there to do that. Go visit the open houses. Have a great Halloween, and I'll see you guys next Saturday. Bye.